I did know.
Oh.
So.
Are you gonna like edit me out?
No, you're just edit.
All right, let's take a look at questions.
Now when everybody watches this class.
All right, page 104. We're okay with questions 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah.
We're okay?
Yeah.
Those look familiar?
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I'll from your desk. I put it in my pocket.
I was looking where it went.
Thought it'd be all right. All right, so 1, 2, 3, good. What about 4 and 5? Are we okay on those? Oh, go over them. You got it. You got it. All right. So number 4. Oh, that's positive too. Excuse me.
Hey, you don't have a right to do that.
Right to what?
I can take my foot.
Oh, I just put it up front so you wouldn't get in trouble with it.
Oh, okay.
Look out for your best interest. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just find the slope, and I'm going to find the slope by counting. So I'm going to count down from 2, 2. I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3. So I went down 3, so that's -3, and then right 2. So I have a slope of that. Agree?
Wait, you're doing 4?
That's what they asked me to do.
Wait, but it says put it in point slope form.
I know I'm not done. I'm not done yet. I'll get there.
But that's not what I did.
I have a no name.
Thank you. All right, so now let's put it in point slope form. So, point slope form is this. Now, here's the problem with point slope form. Let's say you choose that one. There's one answer. Let's say I choose that one for my answer. Which answer's right? They're both. They're both. Point slope form can yield you 2 different looking answers, which are both correct. If you solve these, so if you were to distribute -3/2 here, and then solve it for y, you get the exact same answer. So please know that you have 2 different answers that could happen with point slope form. Yeah.
Okay, wait, so I didn't do that, but I just like took 1 point and then plugged it into the sub-point slope.
Had you found the slope as well?
No, I just did the point.
Well, how'd you find the slope then?
I don't know, I just put it in. I just put
Okay.
2 numbers in the name.
Okay.
So I took like the...
Did you get one of the answers that I got, either green or blue?
No.
Okay, you did it wrong then. You didn't even find the slope first. And I found the slope just by counting. All right, can I do number 5, or are you okay with this? 5 is okay, yes or no? All right, 6. So 6 through 13, any of those you want to take a look at? 10?
Yeah.
10. All right. So point slope form is this. All right. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. So let's see. Put it in point slope form. All right. So y, that's y1, half x, that's x1. Done. 6. M equals -4, and you have -3, 0. Your point slope form is this. So you're going to go y minus 0, or y plus 0, because 0 is signless. And then slope is this, and then x plus 3.
Because it's in the problem of pay attention. That's 0.
That was a 0.
Oh,
6. What else? What?
13.
13. Little noisy. Little noisy. All right. All right. Ready? So convert these into points. 1, 3, 3, 4. That's the first thing. Everything okay with that? Let's find the slope. So the slope equation is this. as a go-to, you need to know. So in order to find the slope, I'm going to go 4 minus 3, 4 minus 3, and 3 minus 1. 1 over 2. Is that all right so far? And then I'm going to pick one of them. So I'll pick that one. So y minus 3 equals 1/2 x minus 1. Or if you chose that one, you could get y minus 4 equals 1/2 x minus 3.
Oh, that's what I did.
So again, two answers happen on point slope form. Are we okay with that?
Yep.
Anything else from that front side? Yeah? No?
I have 3 lasers.
Oh, put them in their cycle.
Number
bin.
9.
Number 9. All right, number 9, you have a slope of 0. So the slope of 0 is a horizontal line, yes? So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So I get y minus 2 equals 0 times x plus 3. So you technically could leave it like that, but you have to realize that 0 times a quantity is 0. So your equation's actually bad. But I would take that as an answer. I like that too. Cool?
Why would you need to know the point slope form?
Point slope form is the accepted form for later math, and it goes along with how things shift as far as different functions. A little too much talking. How things shift, like especially with parabolas, and then you have exponentials, logarithmic, sine, cosine, tangent, all of those. So it's like the form that's used with those later. It's just that a linear equation is a one-dimensional. This is the first of the things to do beyond points. And so it's easier to leave things in slope-intercept form or standard form on those than to do it the other way. All right, number 19 we did, so I don't need to do that. That's on yesterday's. Anything you want to see on the back side, 14 through 17, any of those?
We did 14, we did 19 yesterday?
Yep, that was the last thing in the notes.
What? It was in the video. Also, it was
I wouldn't fun you. Anything 14, 17? All right, I will. Yeah, good. 14.
Yeah, I guess.
All right. All right. Shh. Write the equation of the line passing through the given points. Use point slope form to set the equation and then convert it to slope intercept form. Okay, so point slope form is this. So y minus 0 equals -1, x minus 5. Is that okay? So that's my point slope form. And then if I'm going to put it as this, I'm going to distribute the -1. Y minus 0 is just y. -1x or -x plus 5. There's your slope intercept. 16. Good. 16. -3 comma -6. 1, -8. Let's find the slope. So -8 plus 6. 1 minus, or 1 plus 3. So that's -2 over 4. So -1/2.
Would it be -3? 1 plus -3? Or would it stay positive?
Slope equation is y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. So it would have been a minus minus right here. What? You're being noisy. All right, I'll pick this equation to use my point slope. So y plus 8 equals -1/2 x minus 1. And then we want to convert it to slope-intercept form.
I need to go.
And subtract 8. Subtract 8. There you go. All right, let's look at number 18. Work that one out. Okay, again, it's doing in the context. You're earning money, babysitting, and decide to set up a savings account that you will deposit money into the same rate each month. At 3 months, you have $200. So at 3 months, you have $200. After 7 months, you have $300. Okay? write a linear equation for the function, so I'm going to use those 2 points. So let's find the slope first. So 300 minus 200, 7 minus 3. So that's 100 over 4, which is 25. So then I can use my point slope. Doesn't matter which equation I pick, so I'll pick this one. So y minus 200 equals 25, x minus 3. So write a linear equation. Okay, what is the y-intercept? Okay, so then I'm going to solve this. Jets. Always touching this chair. Are you okay? Yeah, what? Okay. So, that is our linear equation. So what does the y-intercept mean on this equation? That means that that 125 is way up here. That basically means that this savings account, you had started at day 0 with 125 bucks in it. Okay? What is the slope? What is the slope and what does it represent in this problem? Well, the slope is this. And that means that you put $25 per month in for your linear equation to work. And then how much money will you have after 1 year? Well, you're going to plug a 12 in right there because 1 year is 12 months. So 25 times 12 is, I don't know. You guys have the calculator?
It's 425.
425 plus 125? Okay, there's something going on.
Wait, no,
A couple of
12.
you might be getting a phone call home and a dean referral. Something's going on. I don't know what it is. Every time I start working, there's giggling, chatting, and all this other stuff. It's got to stop. That'll be the last warning. Okay? So what is 25 times 12? 425. And 425 added to 125 is $550. So after a year, you'll have 550 bucks in your savings account. Seems okay. I don't know. Babysitting job shouldn't be hard. All right, make sure your name is on that. Pass it on forward, please.
Brandon.
Any more homework that I'm forgetting? All right. So my plans for today and tomorrow. Today we're going to kind of finish up this kind of stuff. And then tomorrow we're going to have just kind of a review day. And then over break, you're not going to have any homework from me. And I will just assure you that Mr. Silva sent out an email saying very clearly that break is a break. Students are not to be doing homework over break. That doesn't include if you have to miss a whole bunch and you might want to make up some stuff. But I'm not going to give you homework. If you have a teacher who assigns you homework as a regular thing, remind them that there was an email sent out to the whole staff by Mr. Silva, our principal, saying it's a break.
We won't have break. I mean, homework over break either.
No!
So
You should do
every
that
break
over
we have done.
summer
So why do we have homework over
No,
summer?
because then you'll forget.
Because we're trying to keep you guys.
Wait, it's just, is it there or is it for the next grade? Is it like for the next grade?
Break is actually break.
Break is actually break.
Yeah, so for summer break, they should do that too.
This is gonna be like the first
Summer
break.
break.
Okay, shit. Fine.
Yeah, it's
The summer packet over shouldn't be that much. So we have it for all your others. We got you covered for fall break, winter break, spring break. I can't guarantee Thanksgiving. For me, I'm not going to assign anything, but just let me
I
know.
don't have any days of Thanksgiving break.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to talk about parallel and perpendicular lines. Parallel lines are lines that have the exact same slope. They never intersect each other. Perpendicular lines are lines that intersect, and they intersect at a 90-degree angle. Okay? All right, how to recognize that lines are parallel or perpendicular. So parallel equals slopes. So if you had a slope of one line of 2/3 and the other line's 2/3, they're parallel. Perpendicular, if you had a slope of one of the lines being A over B, the perpendicular slope, so this little upside down T means perpendicular, is going to be opposite sign and reciprocal, so a negative reciprocal. So if you had a slope that was 2/3, the perpendicular slope would be -3/2. If you had -5/4 as a slope, the negative reciprocal of that is +4/5. Okay?
So it's flipping the equation.
It flips and changes the sign.
Okay.
And then if you have a vertical line and a horizontal line, those are perpendicular to each other, even though they don't satisfy the negative reciprocal rule. So an undefined slope, vertical line, and a horizontal slope, slope of 0, those are perpendicular. Can I move?
No.
Yeah.
So would we need to draw, right, the upside down T, for the,
It's just, I would use that as the notation.
okay.
Wait, what's the 1 over?
This?
Yeah.
Perpendicular. It's an upside down T. Means perpendicular.
Oh.
So we don't have to write out perpendicular. Ready? Here we go. All right, graph the two lines. So this first line we'll do in red. What's the y-intercept of that one? +5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everyone clear with that?
Yeah.
The slope of that is going to be down 2, right 1. So I get a line that looks like that. Agree?
Yep.
This one, we could use the cover method. So if I covered up this, I get 2y equals -12. So y would have to be equal to -6. And if I were to cover up the 2y, I'd get 4 times x equals -12. So that's -3. What do you notice about these lines? One's red, one's blue. Good.
They're parallel.
Yeah, they don't appear to be intersecting. They appear that they are parallel. So if you were to try and figure out the slopes, this goes down and right. So this one has a slope of -2/1. And this one, I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and right 1, 2, 3. So this one has a slope of -6/3. Is -2/1 and -6/3? Is that the same thing? Yeah, they both reduce to -2/1 or just -2. Seem good so far?
So this one's parallel? This one will be parallel.
These are parallel. So if we wanted to get this in the same form, I could modify this second one to look like this. And then divide everything by 2. And you probably will see, hey, I have a -2 slope there, I have a -2 slope there. Okay? That right?
Could you do that on,
I just did it.
mid-teens probably as well?
Yeah. Oh. All right. There we go. Moving on. All right, so parallel lines and slopes, two lines in the same plane, so meaning you drew it on the same graph, that never intersect are parallel lines. Non-vertical lines are parallel if and only if they have the same slope. All vertical lines are parallel. All right, sounds good. Those are just things. All right, which of these lines appear to be parallel? So on this blue one, I'm going to go down 1 and over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So -1/5 here. And then on this one, I'm going to go down 1 and over 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's -1/4. And then the green one, I'm going to go down 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So -1/5. So this and this are the same slope. So the blue and the green line are parallel. The red line really looks like it could be, especially with my kind of handwriting, but once you find the slope, you realize the blue and the red would eventually intersect, or the red or the green will eventually intersect. They have different slopes. Now they might intersect way out here, which we don't see on our -5 to +5 grid. Cool? Write out the equation that passes through the point 5, -4, and is parallel to the line. Okay? So, first thing I have to recognize is I have a slope here of 2. Agree? If it's parallel, is the slope the same or negative reciprocal? Same. So, parallel means slope equals m equals m. Okay? So, I want to write out the equation. So, this is my point slope form. So, it's write an equation. Okay, so I'm going to have y plus 4 equals 2x minus 5. Did it say anything about what type of equation to write this as? No, I would leave it as a point slope form. And the reason I would leave it as a point slope form is you don't want to make a mathematical error by distributing the 2 and then subtracting the 4. You might make an error. If it just says, hey, I want the equation, leave it in point slope form. Don't chance making an error. Is that okay? Can I move on?
Yep.
All right. Line A passes through those. Line B passes through those points. Are these parallel or not? Okay, so I'm going to find the slope of this. Do this one in red. So remember, the slope equation is something we need to know. So the slope of those is 4. And let's do this one in blue. Let's see, 2 minus 3 plus, so that's going to be -5 over -1, which is equal to 5. Are those parallel or not? No. Why are they not parallel? The slope is not the same. All right, write an equation. There's that word again, equation. Doesn't mean we have to write it in slope-intercept form, or can we use point slope? I'd say use point slope. So here's my point. What's my slope of this given equation?
1/4.
1/4. So then I'm going to use my point slope. So I'm going to get y minus 2 equals 1/4 x plus 4. Okay? So this line here is parallel to this line here. This line, or this linear equation here, also contains the point -4, 2. And remember, when you plug it in, it's opposite values. Is that right? Number 8, graph the 2 lines. Oh, what do we have here? All right, so let's graph these. I'll do this first one in red. What's the y-intercept?
1/2.
5?
Yeah, I mean 5. Yeah.
Slope is 1/2, so up 1, right 2. Everyone good with that? All right. I can do this one cover method. So what is y equal to if I cover the x? -6. And then what is x equal to if I cover up the y? -3. Does it appear these lines cross?
Yes.
Yes. Does it appear they could be perpendicular? Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I know that my red, I have a slope of 1/2. My purple, I'm going to go ahead and solve it. So I'm going to get 2y equals -4x minus 12. Divide everything by 2. So, what's the slope of this one?
-2.
-2.
-2 or -2/1? Is -2/1 the flip over of 1/2 and the opposite sign? So, is one positive, one negative? Yep, so we're good with opposite signs. If I flip 1/2 over, do I get 2/1? Is 2/1 the same thing as 2? So are these two lines perpendicular to each other?
Yes.
Giddy up. Yes.
So what they didn't
What if it was 1/2 and say like -3/1? They would cross, but they're not perpendicular. It's not the special crossing to make them perpendicular. What's that?
So what it would be considered
Two lines that intersect.
So this
We will actually get into something. There would be two lines that have one solution because they cross at a point.
as. So the perpendicular and the solution.
No, perpendicular, they will cross at one point as well, but when they do cross, they happen to cross at 90-degree angles. So the angle of this crossing here is 90 degrees, as well as here, as well as here, as well as here. Those are all 90 degrees.
So it's not 90. It's
Good, yep. So if I drew in there and if you knew that this was like 89 degrees, you could say right away, they're not perpendicular. They're close, but they're not. Okay, make sense? All right, core concept. Two are perpendicular lines and slopes. Two lines in the same plane that intersect to form right angles. Right angles are 90-degree angles. Are perpendicular. Non-vertical lines are perpendicular if and only if their slopes are negative reciprocals. Vertical lines are perpendicular to horizontal lines. So vertical lines, undefined slope, are perpendicular to zero slope. So those aren't negative reciprocals of each other. Yeah. Everyone all right? May I move to the next slide? All right. Determine which of the lines, if any, are parallel or perpendicular. So what's the slope of this first line?
4.
4.
Yeah.
The second line, I need to solve it for y. Is that okay so far? And then I'm going to divide everything by 4. So what's the slope of this line? -1/4. Good. Okay. And then last line, we just went blue. I'm going to solve this one for y, so I'm going to add 2x to both sides. And then I'm going to divide everything by -8.
Mister, for that flip up, you wouldn't divide
Which one?
the way you're doing it now.
I did. I divided by the 8, -8.
What you mean, like, you wouldn't divide like the 2 and the 8 to the 16?
Yeah, that gives you -2. All right, what's the slope of this one? -1/4. All right. So these are parallel. How do I know they're parallel? No,
Oh wait.
they're the exact same slope. I have a sneeze that wants to come.
Woo!
Yep. Thank you.
Salute.
All right.
Welcome.
So the red is perpendicular to the green and the blue. How do I know that? 4 is the same. It's supposed to be nothing. So 4 is the same thing as 4/1, yes? If I flip over 4/1, I get 1/4. 1/4. And if I change the sign from positive to negative, that's what takes place. So the line that it has a slope of 4 is perpendicular to this. The line that's slope 4 is also perpendicular to this. While the green, the -1/4 and the -1/4 are both perpendicular to each other, are both parallel to each other because they're identical slopes. Oh man, yeah. I got up way too early today. My youngest daughter had to be at her middle school at 2:45 this morning because she is on her flight to Washington, D.C. with her and 159 of her classmates. So there's like 177 people, including the people at Algebra. She's 14. She'll be 14 in February. Yeah, she did in Washington D.C.
I did that last year.
That's pretty.
I would have.
I think it's pretty cool. When I went to Washington D.C. when I was in 8th grade, I was from Arizona, so we got to meet two pretty high up government officials. We met Senator John McCain, which was pretty cool. We met with him in his office, and then we also met Justice Sandra Day O'Connor. She was from Arizona, so we got to meet one of the Supreme Court justices. So that was pretty cool. Of course, when you're in 8th grade, you don't really understand how politics works, so it's goofy. Yeah, question.
It just kind of reminded me last year for 8th grade, we went to Costa Rica.
Nice. That is. That's fantastic. All right, let's finish up. We're almost done. Almost done. I'm sorry, I got you upset. All right, quick question. What is the slope of this line?
1/2.
1/2. If I wanted to find a perpendicular slope, it has to be negative. And what is the reciprocal of 1 over 2? 2. You can say 2 over 1 or just 2. Is that all right? All right, so now I want to use this information here. I want to find a line that is also perpendicular to the given equation that passes through this point. So now I'm going to use my point slope. Okay, so I'm going to go y minus 1 equals, I'm going to use the negative 2 because I want the perpendicular slope, x plus 3. So this equation here, this linear equation here is perpendicular to this linear equation. This linear equation also contains the point negative 3 comma 1. Okay, does that mean that the two lines cross at negative 3 comma 1? No, not necessarily. It's just that the green equation happens to contain that point as well. Write an equation that passes through negative 3, 5, and is perpendicular with this line. Okay, so what's this slope? Negative 3. What would the perpendicular slope have to be? What's the, yeah? Positive, good. And what's the reciprocal of 3?
Oh, so Mr.
Negative.
Flip over. The flipped over T is like
Means perpendicular. Okay, so we're going to use this slope. So now I'm going to use my point slope form. Again, it's asking for what equation, so don't goof it up. So you have y minus 5 equals 1/3. Do I have to put a positive with it? Or can we just know that it's positive by it sitting by itself? So you don't need to put the positive. If you threw the positive in there, you're fine. But that equation here, this equation here, is perpendicular to this equation here. This equation here also contains the point negative 3 comma 5. All right, and I have one last slide. The stapler wasn't working on the copy sheet, so we had to do this. We have one whole slide left. Pass these on back. One whole slide. I know, sorry. Don't worry, the trees will grow back. I've taught statistics for years. I can tell you, we have more trees in the United States right now than we've ever had in the history of the United States. Of course, we're deforesting other countries to get our paper now, but we have more trees in the United States. So. See how statistics use things? You're good. It's exactly what we're doing, man. But
So bad.
I'm just saying. All right. Last slide. Everyone got one? All right, here we go. All right. The position of a helicopter search and rescue crew is shown in the graph. The shortest flight path to the shoreline is one that is perpendicular to the shoreline. Write an equation that represents this path. Okay? So, we're trying to get to right here, right? So let's see. I need to see, do I have two? That looks like a point right there. What do you think?
where?
Right there?
No.
No?
Oh, that is area.
Yeah, I think that's the point 12 comma 1. So if I did that, then I can just do 4 minus 1. 4 minus 1, 14 minus 12. So m equals 3 over 2. And then if I use point slope, and I don't know, maybe I'll use that point right there. So I get y minus 4 equals 3 over 2. X minus 14.
Isn't it perpendicular, so it has to be 2 over 3?
Well, I didn't even have to use the green at all. I just realized I had 2 points here, and I just found the linear equation of this. Now, you're absolutely right. If I wanted to find out what this equation is here, if I wanted to find the equation of this, this would have a slope of negative 2/3. So let's see if that works. Negative 2, 1, 2 over 3. Yep, that has a negative 2/3 slope. Sweet. I love it when it works out that way. All right, your assignment is page 106, 107. And then tomorrow we will work in class and get it done, review. And then after this class tomorrow, you have my permission to leave math for the whole 9 days.
Wait, what? Oh,
It's 9 days.
smart.